Hey everyone, it's me, Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel. Don't forget, you can donate the links below. Thank you very much. And check my novels on Amazon. Thank you. Now, quick story. Jack plans to move to California. Now, he got his green card because he's officially from Britain. So this British guy, Jack, wants to buy a house in California near the shores. He found an advertisement of a house. So he boarded an airplane, went there together with his wife to check on the house. And guess what? The house looked nice. It had 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2 swimming pools, a large backyard like a tiny farm, and he could see the beach from his house. It was also on a hillside, so he was thinking, wow, this is all I ever wanted. So when he and his wife left, because there were also other people about to check the house, he and his wife decided, man, we're going to take this house. They were determined, we are going to take the house, already made up their mind. While they went into town, they were at the pub, and the bartender asked them, are you here to see that house? And Jack said, yeah, we're from Britain. We're here to check the house. We plan to move here. And the bartender told them, ma'am, sir, are you both sure you want to get that house? And Jack looked at them and said, yeah, why not? I would think twice about it. I mean, there's some spooky stories about that house. And Jack said, I don't want to hear it. Man, nothing personal, I don't want to hear it. Jack's wife kind of was interested in the spooky stories, but she followed her husband's lead. They didn't want to hear it. They will go to the library because they're exploring the neighborhood where they're about to live. At the library, a librarian tells them, ma'am, sir, it's not of my concern. Still, I feel like it's my obligation to warn you, it may not be a good idea to buy the house up on that hill. I mean, a lot of horrible stuff happened in the past that may affect the present also. And Jack was polite and told the individual not interested in hearing it. So they kept declining everyone that intended to warn them not to buy the house. None of the people even got the chance to tell Jack what was wrong with the house. Because Jack and his wife wouldn't even allow them to speak. They'd either walk away or tell them to shut up. Well, guess what? They bought the house. Long story short, later they found out that the house had that weird smell coming from the basement continuously. So they thought we could just clean the basement, that's it. But the stench kept coming back. And long story short, one day Jack began to dig in the basement and he found corpses over there. Many of them. And he was thinking, what the hell is this? And suddenly Jack got a bill from the local county. It was a tax liability that was still on the property, left by the previous owners. And Jack thought, we're not going to pay this. Let me get my attorney, because this can't be. We just moved into it. We just purchased the house. We just got a title to the place. And then Jack began to receive phone calls of people who claim their belongings were in the house. And Jack was thinking, I don't know who you guys are. So Jack and his wife found out that a house on that hill used to belong to a satanic family that used to kidnap people, rob them, and bury them. So during the court case, out of the blue, Jack was arrested. And Jack thinks, how the heck am I arrested? Why? Because of the corpses were found. Jack didn't tell anyone, but the news spread around. And now, the prosecutor thinks it's weird that Jack, all the way from Britain, decided to buy exactly that house with a controversial history. And when Jack tried to explain, I had no idea the controversial history of the house. The prosecutor in the courthouse said, Mr. Johnson, how the heck do you purchase a house while you reside in the United States of America, in California, while you live in Britain, and you don't even investigate the history of the house nor the property to know what you get yourself involved with? And guess what? Jack couldn't say anything. Okay, that was a parable. Let me give you another one. You buy a car. It's a nice car, drives well, all of that. But guess what? You need to put gasoline in it regularly. You need to charge the battery. You need to wash the car. You need to pay insurance on the car too. And eventually you get upset thinking, man, what the heck is this? I don't want to put up with have to put gas in the car, having to charge the battery, having to wash it all that. My God, what the heck is this? Now you feel like the victim. And people are telling you, but dude, don't you know that owning a car comes with consequences, comes with requirements? Well, anyway, let me give one more parable. You have a guy that moves to Norway, all the way up north to Tromsø, because this guy likes the scenery that's covered with snow. But guess what? He found out that over there in the area where he lived, just outside of Tromsø, it's quite hard to get gas for the car. So gas prices were higher over there. Food prices were a bit higher. Also, mail wasn't transferred there all the time. And people told him, but sir, you live a bit isolated all the way to the north of Europe. There are no active railways over here. And a big portion of this area is covered with snow for the most part of the year, not all of it. How did you expect life is going to be here? Of course, it's going to be slower. So how can this individual complain about things being so slow and compare it to how swift things used to be, for example, New York City? Thing is, he's not in New York City. He's not in a metropolitan area. He is in an isolated, snowy area where the logistics are slow. Now, these are some parables I give. Now, why did I give them? In each of these parables, it became clear that you cannot just get involved with a situation without knowing what you're getting yourself involved with. Look, people can lie to you, people can trick you. A scam artist can scam you, people can con you. That's all true. However, if you do your own due diligence about any situation before you get yourself involved with it, you will notice when something is off. When something is off, it's your responsibility and your obligation to look further into it before you even get involved. Whereas you marrying someone, you need to know their past, their family, what their values are to see whether they're going to be a match for you or not. Or whereas you investing capital into a business, you know for sure that the business you invest in is not a front for criminal activity or terrorist activity. Or whereas you decide to enroll in a university, you need to check whether university has a good reputation or whether the major you're about to do will benefit you in finding a job later. You need to do your due diligence. Just involve yourself in a situation based on likes or dislikes, or based on feelings or emotions, that is unwise and it can even be criminal. Imagine you go to buy some groceries at a supermarket. And the groceries are quite cheap. And you think, hey, that's good for me. I can save some cash. It's good for my budget. Let's say this supermarket is a front for human trafficking. If you're not aware of it, guess what? It's not your fault that they're involved in human trafficking. You just go there because the groceries are cheap and you need to get cheap groceries. Now, if there are other places where you can get cheap groceries, you should absolutely move away from that place. Now, let's say you're not aware of it. If you're not aware of it at all, guess what? You're not to blame. They should not have a supermarket to cover up their human trafficking. Simple as that. If you ever notice that something's off with the supermarket because the prices are way too cheap, now you need to begin to think, okay, the price is way too cheap. Or how come there are barely people going to the supermarket? Let's say you have a supermarket, it's filled with goods, also with food, but there are barely customers. Now you ask yourself, how come this place barely has customers, yet it can survive as a business with the price being so low? That alone should alert something's off over here. If you know something is off and you ignore and keep going to the supermarket, even if you're not aware it was criminal activity, you knew something was off, so you're willing to put yourself at risk. From that point on, you're culpable for whatever goes on, because you're now part of the bad situation if you don't know what the bad situation is. If you're fully aware it's a front of human trafficking, but let's say now you have no other supermarket to go to, guess what? You now, though the circumstances, are obliged to put up with something bad because you don't have any other better option. But often it's not the case. But if you know is a front for human trafficking. And you have other options to shop and keep shopping over there. From now on, any judge or police officer or prosecutor will label you as a suspect and someone who either wants to be involved or are involved with human trafficking. Because who in the right mind would continue to go to a supermarket that they know is a front for human trafficking, even though the other supermarkets were just as cheap or even better than this one? What I'm saying is that you need to do your due diligence. Now, this international arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, issued by the International Criminal Court, it shocked a lot of people worldwide. Now, the prosecutor, Karim Khan, revealed months ago, in May already, that he was issuing an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu, who then served as the Prime Minister of the State of Israel, which is till this day, that is the 28th of November 2024. He also issued an arrest warrant for what used to be back then the Minister of Defense of the State of Israel. Well, Benjamin Netanyahu fired him a little while ago. And there were also some Hamas leaders that were also on the list. Two of them been assassinated by the State of Israel. And in this case, Sinwar and Hanea. And you have Mohammed Dave, who is, I will pronounce it well, he's not sure whether he's dead or not. But anyway, you have three of them still alive. And the arrest warrants have been issued despite months of delay. And there were also rumors that the prosecutor behind all of this was accused of sexual misconduct, even though that news did not go fully mainstream. I haven't read anything else about it. I've been looking for the information about it. Anyway, the arrest warrants came nevertheless. Now the United States, at least a lot of people in the United States politics went nuts, calling it anti-Semitic. Some say they want to invade The Hague or they want to take actions against the International Criminal Court. But hold on a minute, why was the United States okay with Vladimir Putin having an arrest warrant? Why were they okay with, in the past, for people from Africa getting an arrest warrant, where they went rogue against their own people? Because those people can be a hinder to U.S. interests, that's why. Now, I'm going to keep this brief now. I gave you all these parables to give the context of what I'm talking about here. This Gaza genocide that's been going on, there's no way anyone in politics today can say we didn't know about it or what could we have done about it. Especially not Western countries. You cannot be supplying someone with weapons, so-called for self-defense, even when there's obvious proof they're misusing the weapons and killing civilians unnecessarily. Oh, and by the way, if you're the occupying power of another country or an area, you have the obligation to look after the civilian population. So, whenever you look at it, the State of Israel is now involved in a genocide against the Palestinians. There's even rumors now, well, not actually rumors, there are even plans now to annex the West Bank and deny the homeland for the Palestinian people. I mean, what the heck is this? It's genocide. It's ethnic cleansing. There's no other way to call it. How come now so many political figures, so many institutions, so many countries have a hard time admitting this? Is it because the country involved is run by what's considered quote-unquote white people, quote-unquote Western allies? If it were Palestinians or Palestinian militias massacring over 40,000 Israeli Jews, do you seriously think there would be any delay in responses? No, there wouldn't be. Or let's say now, in South Africa now, you have tens of thousands of quote-unquote white South Africans being massacred by the government of South Africa. Do you seriously think there will be a delay in response to this? No. So what the whole Gaza genocide revealed is that the Western world hasn't improved at all. The Western world is just hiding It's white supremacist fairy tale and their genocidal mania. That's all it is. If the Western world actually valued the rule of law, they will say, listen, if there's a court case against these men, and there's reasonable proof to show that they're guilty, then issue the arrest warrant and let the court case come and let in a court of law to be decided. I mean, apart from this international arrest warrant, anytime someone is a defendant in a court case, they are accused by the prosecutor or by a third party. If it comes to arrest warrant, it's because there is a belief based on evidence that likely a crime is happening. If the individual is guilty, they're guilty. But guess what? Still has to be proven. So the individual will get an attorney, get a lawyer, and now the court case begins. This is how it always works. Imagine someone is suspected of money laundering, and out of the blue, people are saying we won't accept this accusation by the prosecutor. Well, guess what? The prosecutor issued the case, the judge agreed to it, so now in a court of law they need to prove it. But in this case, there's an arrest warrant, and a lot of people don't even want to hear about the arrest warrant. They want it to go away. And some US senators even want the military action to be taken against the Netherlands if the Netherlands agrees to this. France now, there's someone in France claiming now that there may be immunity for Benjamin Netanyahu. Even though legally speaking, despite the fact the state of Israel didn't sign, well actually, they're not part of the Statute of Rome. Despite that, they committed these crimes in a jurisdiction, namely the jurisdiction of the state of Palestine, which is part of the Statute of Rome. So, based on that, they can be arrested. If, let's say, China it doesn't recognize International Criminal Court, but if a Chinese politician or someone from China would commit crimes in an area that does recognize International Criminal Court, the individual can also get an arrest warrant. This is how it works. I mean, I believe it was Lindsey Graham in the United States who said, if we let this happen, soon will come for us. That means he admits they're guilty. The thing is, a lot of people in the public agree to this. There are countries who said, we're going to arrest those men if they come here. But some countries say, no, we have to wait and see what happens. There was even one legal expert that said, well, Germany may not arrest Benjamin Netanyahu and Gallant because of the Nazi past. Hold on a minute. What the heck? So now, because of historical injustice done by the German people decades ago, now the descendants of survivors are above international law? They can just get away with massacring another people? I mean, what the heck is this? Let me tell you what goes on from an anthropological point of view. The Western world is finished. The whole idea and the whole concept of Western world is over. Because the Western world, at least the idea of Western world is an area of the world that's far developed, that's far civilized, and who is a key developer when it comes to human societies. That's the idea of the Western world. And coincidentally, for some reason, those were also the countries that used to be the colonial powers. Or states that used to be colonies, like the United States, used to exist out of 12 British colonies, and Canada used to be a British Dominion. Australia, New Zealand also used to be British Dominions also. So this is connected to the idea of white supremacy, also racism. So the idea of the West was a way to sugarcoat racism, apartheid, anti-black racism, and also genocide has been committed by Western nations throughout history, both internally and on others. The idea was that the West improved, and it's all about international law, international justice. Nobody's about the rule of law. And one of the reasons why the United States, so-called, invaded countries worldwide was to intervene, to rescue the people from their own tyrants and restore democracy, the rule of law, all of that. Okay, if the United States, which a main part of the Western world, is so into the rule of law, how come now the rule of law has to be put aside for those two Israelis? They didn't say a word about that one Hamas guy, Mohammed Dave, who's also on the list. Oh wait, it's because Mohammed Dave is an Arab? For some reason it's okay to charge him, but because those Israeli men are considered Jewish, and because of that you can't do it? Look, either the Western world saves its face and they can continue to function for a little while more, or they keep beating around the bush with this international arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, and by doing that, they expose us more and more, and they'll face internal backlash from their own population. Because think about it. This embarrassing situation with International Criminal Court issuing this arrest warrant, I don't think the International Criminal Court is embarrassing. It's embarrassing how long it took and the fact there's resistance against these two men being held accountable for their political actions, political military actions. I mean, think about it. You have a lot of neo-Nazis, conspiracy theorists, a lot of people who indeed are into anti-Semitism out there. By the way, I think it's weird. Palestinians are Semites. How come when harm is done to them, it's not considered anti-Semite? How come when you have anti-Arab racism going on, it's not considered anti-Semitism? But anyway, you have actual groups out there who hate the Jews, think the Jews are behind everything, ruling the world, the Jews are to blame for everything. You have groups like that out there, a lot of them. And such groups are often opposed by Western legislation. And those groups are convinced that the Jews are the enemy. Some even show sympathy for Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. They even post going on social media saying Hitler was right and all of that. This is quite disturbing. Okay, if you want to stop anti-Semitism, or particularly hate against the Jews, if you want to stop that, you have to show the world, listen, the Jews are not above anyone. They'll be held accountable like everyone else. If an Arab commits a crime, he's charged. If a Jew commits a crime, he's charged. If an African commits a crime, he's charged. If a European individual commits a crime, he's charged. If an Asian individual is charged, he's charged. Once you show this to people worldwide, all these anti-Semitic groups are shut down. They can't say anything anymore. They lose the strength of conviction. They're gonna look like a big joke, as it should be. However, the fact it took so long for the international arrest warrant, the international arrest warrants to be issued, the fact there was so much controversy around it, the fact there's even threats of military and political violence against international criminal courts now, and the fact that even people look for loopholes to make sure these two men are not held accountable for their political and military actions, that's like throwing oil on the fire. If you throw oil on fire, the flame is going to increase. It's going to get more dangerous. Well, guess what? If things are delayed with these international arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, the longer it's delayed, the more anti-Semitism you'll have. And besides that, you're going to have a lot of more xenophobia and anti-Arab racism. You're going to also have a lot of Islamophobia rising. So you're going to have more societal clashes. Because here's the thing. It was the West that puts itself out there as the beacon of light that's to civilize mankind and that's to bring reason, democracy, secularism, whatever. The West puts itself out there as the ones running the world, as the ones developing the world, as the ones who establish international law. If that's the case, if that's the case, then they have to live by their own international law too. You can't say, well, if an African guy commits genocide or if someone from Asia goes too far, good, arrest them, show them who's boss. Or if it's Vladimir Putin, who's kind of against the interests of Western Europe and North America, man, good, put him there. He shouldn't attack Ukraine. Okay, how come with Russia, the Russian Federation, and with Vladimir Putin, there were not only arrest warrants, but there were also political sanctions immediately. Political, economic, financial sanctions immediately because of the harm done to Ukrainian children, due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Oh, but now you have farmer children murdered, blown to pieces by missiles dropped on Gaza by the state of Israel, and a lot of those missiles are provided by the United States, paid by tax dollars from American citizens. Now that that's happening, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They can't even name for what it is. That's why you have more and more people turning against the West, even Western people turning against the West. You have an increase in people converting to Islam right now. You have a lot more people joining the pro-Palestine side. And guess what? Who can blame them? Because the West, as a civilizational idea, is showing that they're incompetent to face themselves, own up to their errors, and do self-correction. So, this is a controversy that goes on right now. I cannot say exactly what's about to happen because I don't know the future. I can make a prediction based on anthropological insights and based on, what is most likely to happen, logically speaking. Based on the past behavior of the Western world, based on also the current developments, it's very unlikely that the Western world will take ownership of their failures, especially failure towards the Palestinian people. So them delaying this issue more and more, Donald Trump getting into office again because he is going to have a second term. Donald Trump also having a lot of pro-Israel people in his government coalition, it will spark the flames of social unrest, and also it's going to trigger ethnic violence also. That's going to overwhelm the Western world to a further financial, economic crash. At the same time, it will power the Arab nations and the rest of the Muslim world to form closer ties and to become one big economic bloc. Now, there are conflicts within the Muslim world, I know. There's conflicts, for example, between the Republic of Turkey and the Arab Republic of Syria. Nevertheless, when there's a common enemy, people tend to join forces together, temporarily at least. Anyway, it could be that suddenly, for example, France, Germany, the Netherlands, a lot of countries say, you know what, it's over now. We need to hold these two Israelis accountable. Simple as that, arrest them. If that happens, then the crash of the West will be delayed a little bit. It will be a more softer crash. But the crash is coming anyway. So look, be alert. This situation will not be brushed off. It's not something that happens today. People talk about it for like a week or two and then everyone's forgotten about it. This issue of the Gaza genocide combined with the international arrest warrants against these two Israeli men, it's something that's going to haunt the Western world forever until there's no Western world anymore. That is what I'm telling you. And the images have gone viral of the Gaza genocide and also of the dehumanization happened to the Palestinians on the West Bank and also the dehumanization of the people of Lebanon. No amount of Zionist propaganda can erase this, nor restore the reputation of the state of Israel. It's not going to come back. So what do you have to do if you're a believer? Just trust Christ, follow his guidance, let him guide you on how to deal with the people around you when it comes to this issue. And just know that the only way there can be truly lasting peace is when people serve the Heavenly Father. Simple as that. Well, that's it for now. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.